Hi guys, my name's Morgan and today I wanted to show you how to get this look using the Kat Von D Alchemist palette. If you like it, be sure to comment. Let me know if you want to see more like this. I don't usually do makeup tutorials, but I'd be happy to for you if you like them. Give it a thumbs up and let's get on with the video. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is put on our primer. So I'm using the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I'm actually going to do all of my stuff on my eyes first because I don't want to get any fallout onto my face, even though this isn't like dark makeup, but I just prefer to do it this way. And then just let that dry for a moment. And while I'm letting it dry, I'm going to prime my face because that's going to need to set in a little bit as well. So I'm using the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. Just a really basic silicone primer. I feel like everyone actually has this or like uses it on YouTube. It's really nothing all that special. Sweet. So I'm going to assume that that is all dry now on my eyes, and I'm going to get started by working on the cut crease. For the cut crease, I'm going to be using the Shade and Light palette by Kat Von D. This one is the eye palette, and it looks just like this. So to create the cut crease, I'm going to be going in with the cooler toned shadows. I've done it with the warmer toned before, but I just find that it doesn't quite look as good. So I'm gonna use this as my transition color to keep it really nice and cool. And then I'm gonna go in with this darker shade for the crease. You'll see the technique that I use in just a second, but essentially I'm taking my big fluffy brush just like this. So I'm going in with that first lighter color all on the, just kind of randomly, in all honesty. This doesn't need to be all that exact. And I'm taking it out just a little bit further than my actual eye line stops to create a bit more of a cat eye, because that's the sort of look I like, but you could totally do it rounder if you like kind of a dolly-eyed look. But I feel like when you're doing a cut crease, it's really nice to make it nice and long, elongating. This is actually quite a bit warmer than I thought it would be. I haven't used this shadow for this before, so this could end up looking absolutely terrible, but I don't think it will. I think it might actually look good, which is pretty exciting. Next, I'm going to take that darker shade that I showed you and go in with this crease brush. It's just a, I don't know. Again, I'm not a makeup guru, but this brush fits right into my crease. So just find any dome-shaped brush that fits into your crease. This one's, I think, a BH Cosmetics one that I got in a pack. And this one, you're gonna go in a lot more exact. So you can start to see we're creating that really defined crease. This is a lot more pigmented than the other colors I've used for this purpose. This is gonna go a lot faster. Usually I go through about 3 or 4 times repeating the process, but I think this is only gonna be like once, maybe twice. And making sure that you elongate this as well and that both eyes are, of course, symmetrical. Okay, so now you can see that this is very, very harsh, which is kind of what we want, but I'm gonna go in one more time with the fluffier brush in that lighter gray color and just blend it out to transition it so it's not quite as harsh up at the top here. We just want it to be harsh and cut around the crease area. There we go. These are both looking pretty even to me, so I'm going to move on to the next step, which is cutting out the crease. And this actually scared me. Scared is a little dramatic, but scared me a little bit when I first went to do this because I worried that it would crease a lot to take concealer right onto my eyelid, but I wore it out and no creasing. So it works. Of course, you can probably just go in with like a lighter eyeshadow color and use that, but I'm gonna go in with the Born This Way Radiant Concealer. And I think this is, yeah, this is the shade Fair. So it's the lightest one that I could find, and it's actually what I usually use on my under eyes and everything. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this onto the side of my hand, and then just going in with this small concealer brush. I'm going to take concealer and make an egg shape and cut out the crease on my eyes.
It's a little bit harder when I'm filming for you guys, I will say.
So this is where you want to be really precise. I'm gonna stretch out my eye a little bit while I do this to make sure that I'm getting the shape that I want out of this cut crease. And you want it to be just below the crease because you don't want it to cover up all the work you just did. This definitely takes practice, so be patient with yourself. All right, and now that I've got that egg shape, I'm gonna kind of flick it out onto the other end. Or flick out the sides. So again, elongating the eye. Just fading it out. Like so. I'm just gonna do this on the other eye and I will be right back. Also, another thing that I wanted to mention for you guys, when you're going in with the concealer, because you're going in and covering just a little bit of that darker color, you're gonna wanna make sure that you wipe off some of the concealer as you go along on your wrist because it's gonna start to get dark and muddy. So make sure that you do that so that you don't end up muddying this base area. So I'm just letting this dry for a moment and then I'm gonna go back in over with a little bit of white eyeshadow to really like make it vibrant and a good base for us to go in with our translucent shadows. Okay, so the next step, I'm going in with the white color in the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, just on a normal flat shader brush, and going to pat it onto my eyelid where I just put the concealer. So again, this is just gonna intensify the cut crease, so that when we go in with our holographic shadows, it has a good base. All right, there we go, that's done. And now this is literally my favorite part. I just realized I'm basically doing a full face or a full eye of Kat Von D makeup, not of any real intention other than I like her colors. I forgot. All right, so I forgot that I was even carrying this around. I just carry this around in like everything because I love this palette. It's really hard to find right now, but I'm sure it'll come back in stock in Sephora, and I did find it in a Sephora store in the US, just not in Canada. So if you find it, definitely buy it because it's not easy to come by. But if you haven't seen the palette already, it's these 4 beautiful shades of holographic powder. And you can basically use it to transform any eye look, and I've just been loving it. I put it on my lips even, and as a highlight. So that's what we're gonna do today, is basically use it on everything. One thing that I wish it did have is like a yellow toned highlighter. So I'm gonna start off with that, and then the rest of it's gonna be the Kat Von D stuff. So taking another one of my shader brushes, I swear I have so many of these flat shader brushes, it's kind of weird, there's like way too many. Just dipping it in some water and then putting it on this highlighter. And this is a highlighter from Sephora, which I think they're going to be discontinuing soon, but you can still buy it on the website. It's like 11 bucks right now because it's on sale on its way out. And then I'm just popping it into my inner corner and just a little bit of the inner lid. And I cannot get over how pretty this shade is either. But I definitely prefer having yellow gold tones in my inner corner versus a pinky or blue tone. So once I've made sure that the intensity of the gold and the amount that I've gone in is even, I start by going in with the next color, which is going to be a green. I think I'm gonna do green, no, pink. Yeah, so the next color I'm going to go in with is the green, so that we're taking a little bit of that gold and then transitioning into the green. So green emerald goes on next. Again, I wet the brush a little bit. Got a bit of it onto the cut crease, so
don't do that. If you do and you have some Q-tips handy, you could definitely just take a Q-tip and clean it up, but I didn't bring one, so.
It's definitely much harder to do when you're further away from a mirror. All right, there we go. I don't know if you can see that, but it's such a beautiful color. And then I just realized I've got this mirror right by me, so I'm gonna use this to just apply it.
Okay, this is so much better.
Okay, so I just brought the green a little bit past my pupils and then wetting the brush again, getting that green off, and going in with blue sapphire. So you see the pattern here, we're basically going in with whatever colors are closest to one another. So yellow to green, green to blue, and then we're gonna go blue to purple to take some of that blue and add in the red, and then purple to pink. There we go. Blue is on. And you could definitely do this without wetting the brush, but I find wetting the brush just intensifies the pigments a lot more and makes it like very metallic and really, really pretty. And now we've got purple. Now I'm actually gonna take the purple almost all the way to the outside of the eye, because the pink we're gonna use is kind of a wash for this wing here. Awesome. And now the pink, last but not least. Just a little bit of pink. And there you go, now you're done that cut crease part. And we definitely want to make sure that we are highlighting as well the brow bones. So I'm gonna take, in the same order, the yellow / gold. And this to, oh, it's a lot more than I thought it would be. Oops. Next is the green. And I'm not actually even gonna water or add any more water to my brush for this one because I want it to be just a little bit gentler. It still has a little bit of dampness to it, so we're still getting a stronger payoff than I would if it was just a dry brush, but that's okay. Makes it a little bit more fun. And then the blue. And I don't know if you can tell, but this looks real patchy, so I'm gonna give it just 1 second to dry down just a little bit so that I can go in and blend out the top. Because I don't want it to be as patchy as it is, especially on this side. Oh goodness, not cute. So I think we've got all the patchiness away. Yep, so you can still see there's like the transitions in there, but it's not quite as obvious where all the colors are blending together. All right, now that I have my eyeshadow done, I'm going to start to do my face. So I put this yellow NYX under eye corrector because I've got the bags all the time. And then a green color corrector for any spots of redness. It's basically my whole chin. little bit up there. And we're just gonna blend that in. Starting off with the green, because the green is definitely the least natural on my skin, so I like to make sure that it doesn't dry up. The yellow, I'm okay with having it dry up a little bit because I'll go a bit heavier with the concealer under my eyes anyway. So I'll cover up the yellow. Okay, so now I've got all the green gone, going into the yellow. Next, I'm gonna put my foundation on. I just got this. I feel very fancy. I redeemed a whole bunch of points at Shoppers, which was super exciting, but it's the Dior Skin Star foundation. It is too expensive, but it was basically free. So I'm going to put that onto my Beauty Blender sponge. It's damp, and start to even out my complexion. And now taking the same concealer that I used to cut the crease and covering up my under eye. I have another Beauty Blender that I use for my powders, so I'm taking that one and making it just a little bit damp. And I'm going to take the Makeup Forever translucent powder, apparently just get it all over myself, and set my under eyes with just a little bit of that. And now I'm taking this big fluffy brush and swirling it into the powder and just kind of dabbing it, because I don't want to rub anything off of my face. I really just want to set it. Now, to really brighten my under eyes, oh my gosh, all the translucent powder's going everywhere. I'm going to take the same powder, but really concentrate it underneath my under eyes, which I always find really hard to get an even amount under my eyes. It ends up being real splotchy. So if anyone knows any tricks for this, comment down below. And I'm also gonna do this with my chin because I have a tendency of seeing a lot of creasing and separation of the makeup on my chin. All right, and now that we look like a crazy person, I'm going to contour using the Hoola bronzing powder. This is just the normal Hoola. They also have a light one if you don't wanna be quite so dramatic, but I really like dramatic contour. All right, so I was not filming, but I'm just contouring. So I did under my cheeks and then my jawbone, and then taking my big fluffy brush that I used to do my crease and contouring around my nose. So I just do a little bit up on my nostrils and around that little curved part of the nostril, and then up the bridge. Taking the Sensual blush by Tarte. I love this blush. And a little bit on the apples of the cheeks, but like not too much. I love that I look like a clown right now, like a legitimate clown. Okay guys, now is another fun part with the Alchemist palette. It's just everywhere. Okay, so I'm taking this same sponge and going in with the blue first, just on the highest point of my cheekbone. And then the purple, bringing it up a little bit closer to like my under eye and where the purple and the pink are on my eye, because I want it to kind of bleed out into my highlight. And now to make it a little bit warmer and normal cheek-like, I'm taking the pink opal and just bringing it all along, concentrating a little bit more up front. And obviously we don't want to keep this underneath for that long, so I'm going to blend it out into the highlight because it's really strong highlight, and like we did with the eyes, we also need to make sure that all the colors are blended together in our highlight. Alrighty, so I just put on my mascara and my eyeliner and my brows because I figured that'd be easier to do off camera, but if you want to learn how to do that, just let me know and I can definitely do a tutorial on that, or like a talk through. I don't know. But yeah, that's essentially the finished look. And then I think I'm going to put on, I'm gonna use this lipstick from Clinique. It's called A Different Grape. Just this like plummy sort of color. And then another one of my very favorite things to do with this palette is to take either the purple or blue shades, or, you know, both, and just dab them onto my lips. So I'm gonna put the purple on. Can you see how pretty that is? Like, this whole look is pretty dramatic. And this just takes it up a notch. And I'm just kind of moving my lips around to try and melt it in a little bit better so it's not only concentrated straight in the middle of my lips. I want it to blend out just a little bit. So that's what I've done there. Yeah. All right, that is it. You can also, you know, dab a bit of, I should probably do that. Dab a little bit of highlighter down my nose. Should have done that before I sprayed my face. It's okay. I don't know if you can even see a difference with that, but whatever. So yeah. Alright guys, so that is it for my video today. If you liked it, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Basically, unicorn.